Now let's have a glance on what is meant by a computer network and what is meant by a distributed systems network, distributed systems. So a computer network in the sense, we can say that, so a computer network is nothing but, we can say that it is a large number of separate computers connected with each other. Large number of separate computers connected with each other. So what is meant by a large number of separate computers connected with each other? So what are the purpose of connecting with each other? The very first thing is why we are connecting the computers means the main intention of connecting the computers is to share the information, to communication, for the sake of communication. So, in the same way, if you are having a collection of independent computers but appears to be as a single coherent system, is called a distributed system. So, the definition of a computer network here you can see that it is a large number of separate interconnected computers are called computer networks, and whereas a distributed systems in the sense it is a collection of independent computers but appears to be as a single coherent system. It is called as a distributed system. So example of this one is we can say that a world wide web. Example of this one is world wide web. And then what are the uses of computer networks? So computer networks are having different uses, many number of uses, but out of them, few applications we will discuss here. That is the very first one is we can use the computer networks in business applications. We can use these computer networks in home applications. We can use these computer networks in mobile users. Mobile users in the sense don't think that mobile phone only. Any computer or any electronic gadget which can be connected with the internet, and it can be movable, which can be connected with the internet without having any wire, then we can call it as a mobile user. That means any device which can be taken from one location to another location, that is what we can call it as a mobile user. And along with that one, as well as the advantages of a computer networks, we also have some disadvantages, so that we are having some social issues with the computer networks. Now let's have a in detail a discussion about these applications of computer networks. So the very first one what we are having is a business applications. In business applications, you know, we are using the computer in business applications. We are using the like where we can use computer networks in business applications. You know, many companies have substantial number of computers. All these separate computers, out of all many computers, and out of these computers, few people are monitoring the production. Few people are keep track of the inventories. A few people are doing the payrolls, etc. So many companies have customer records. A group of people are maintaining the customer records, inventories, accounts receivable, financial statements, tax information, much more. So all these, all this information, if they are connected with each other, then if they are connected with each other, then what happened means it is easy for them to share that information from person to person. So the main intention of in business applications, the computer network's main intention is resource sharing. Resource sharing. That means organization's data can be shared among the peoples of that organization, in a efficient manner. So, in a simplest form, we can say that a company's information system as consisting of one or more databases and some number of employees who need to access them remotely. So, so in that situations, we can use the computer networks. In this model, actually, we are using the data are stored in a powerful computers called servers. Often these servers are maintained by a system administrator, and the employees who are trying to access those servers are called them as a clients. Or the employees, those who are trying to access them, we can call them as a clients. So the clients, what the clients will do? Clients will trying to access the data which is stored in a remote systems, So business system applications, if you are observing, so this is the server what we are having, organization server, and from this server, employees of that organization trying to access the data through a network, So the whole kind of this arrangement, what we can call it as a client server model, and here These people are what we can call them as a clients, and this is what we can have in the server. So in this case, what happened means normally if any client want to get some information, the client will send a request to the server, and server will process that request, and it uh, replies to that request as per the need of the client. So this can be represented like this. The client server model involves request and replies. So here the client machine uh, sends a request to the server machine, and server machine process it and send the reply to the client machine, and send the reply to the client machine through a network. Through a network. So the one of the thing, the main goal of computer network is to provide the communication medium among the employees. You know, nowadays most of the organizations, they are using the internet to promote their products, products. You can observe that like any e-commerce like a Flipkart or Amazon or many even all most of the business now they are relying on the internet to promote their business, so the sector is quickly grow. The development in this sector is very high. So in near future, we can't predict that even a small industries also depends on the internet to promote their business, and this is what we can call it as actually electronic commerce. So business on the network, business through the internet is what we can call it as a electronic commerce. Electronic commerce. So if you see the home applications, then where we are using computer networks in home applications. In from home we are using the computer applications to surf the internet and to read the online newspapers, or to see the online digital libraries, and along with that one, we can also use person-to-person communication. We can also use computer networks in person-to-person communication, like to send the emails, to receive the messages, to enter into the chat rooms. Likewise, to communicate with the other people of same mind, and even we can use the telephone calls, video phones, like there are different areas are there where from where we can use the internet by sitting from home itself. So home network applications, you can observe that, let us assume that these people are P2C, this we can say that peer-to-peer systems. In home related networks, there is no client server model. It is what we can call it as a peer-to-peer system model. So there is a many paths are there to communicate from one person to another person. In case of peer-to-peer system, here you can say that so this particular person can communicate with this person with two different ways. So in peer-to-peer system there is no fixed client server models. So through peer-to-peer systems we can have an interactive entertainment through videos on demand and game playing. Even we can use the electronic commerce, e-commerce, with the help of, like, examples are home shopping, and they can pay their bills and manage their bank accounts and handle their investments electronically. Like these are the home network applications, some common forms of the e-commerce if you are observing. So full name is business to consumer. Opening books examples. That means e-commerce can be a business to business, government to consumer, or peer to peer. So here in business to consumer case, ordering books online is an example of a e-commerce, business to consumer type e-commerce application. A car manufacturer ordering tires from supplier is a e-commerce example of a business to business type e-commerce. And government distributing tax forms electronically is an e-commerce form. A type of e-commerce is government to consumer, and consumer to consumer is auctioning second hand products online. It is again example of a consumer to consumer type e-commerce. And peer to peer is a, file sharing is an example of a peer-to-peer e-commerce. Peer-to-peer e-commerce. That is the case. Now, till now we discussed about computer network applications, one at business applications, and next one is home applications. Now let's have a glance on the mobile users. So as I told you that any electronic component or any electronic personal digital assistant which can be moved from one location to another location, then we can call them as a mobile, we can call them as a mobile gadget, mobile gadgets. So mobile computers such as laptops or PDAs are one of the fast growing segments of the computer industry. So how these components are interconnected with one another through by default it can they are interconnected with each other through wireless networks and nowadays we are having the provision that we can uh, identify the location of even transport vehicles with the help of this wireless technology. So any compo like here the terminology what we are using to use this mobile components. What we can if we are using these mobile components in case of commerce, then we can call it as a m-commerce, that is a mobile commerce. So mobile network users, if you are observing, there are various types of mobile network users are there. Like the component, suppose if the desktop computers, if you are observing, we can't move it. So it is not a mobile and it is not a wireless. So a notebook computer in a hotel room, it is not a wireless, but it can be movable. Likewise, networks in older and unwired building, if you are observing, they can be wireless, but they can't be movable. Like portable offices or PDA store inventory, if you are observing, they can be wireless or they can be mobile. Like the mobile phone, what you are using, or laptops, what you are using, they comes under the wireless and mobile part, wireless and mobile part. And then next one, what we are having is a social issues. As I told you, as the technology is increased, we are having a lot of advantages. Along with those advantages, we are also having some, disadvantages. The very first thing is, of course, the advantages we can say that there is a better interaction between the government and citizen, and at the same time, government does not have any monopoly on threatening the people's privacy. And computer networks offer the potential for sending anonymous messages, like some useless messages or some dangerous messages in the sense messages which spread some disturbances among the society. And then sometimes they will threat our identity. So with the help of that identity, in the sense credit card information or debit card information, they will threat and they will use that information for their own sake. So these are different types of security parameters are also there, which have to be taken serious to for the sake of the people. And at the same time, these are the social issues we need to keep in our mind while using the social networking or computer networks. So that's about a glance on what are the applications we are having. And now it's time to discuss about what is the network hardware. Network hardware. Network, that means in computer network, what type of hardware we are using. Blindly, by closing your eyes, you can say that in computer network, the hardware part is computer and connecting wire. Computer and connecting wire. The connecting wire, what we can call it as a transmission technology. Transmission technology. Okay. And sometimes computer networks are classified depending upon their scale, that is their coverage area. So the coverage area, that means we can say that networks, we can classify the computer networks in two dimensions. One is by using the transmission technology, another one is the scale. By using the transmission technology, we can say that computer networks can be wired or wireless. Wired or wireless, by using a coverage area of the network, we can call them, or scale of the network, we can call networks are various types. Various types. Networks are various types. Okay. So now let's have a glance on what is the network hardware related things. So network hardware, if you are observing, as it is, that is when it comes to the transmission media, then the two types of transmission technologies are there. One is what we can call it as a broadcast links. Another one is what we can call it as a another one what we can call it as a point-to-point links. Broadcasting links, meaning of that one is broadcasting networks are having a single communication channel that is shared by all the machines. Okay, so one only we are having one communication channel. That communication channel is connected with all the systems. If any one system send the information, that system will be transfer to all the systems, transfer to all the systems. That is what we can call it as a broadcast. So a broadcasting message can be identified with a special code in the address field. With the help of that special code, with the help of that special code, that message, all the systems which are connected in that which are connected in that single communication channel can identify that it is a broadcast message, and it will read that message, it will accept that message. So when a packet with this code is transmitted, it is received and processed by every machine on the network. So this mode of operation is called broadcasting. Sometimes, a packet is having another type of special code that can be accessed only by a group of systems connected in the network. Then that type of data transmission is known as a multicasting. That type of data transmission is known as a multicasting. That means some broadcast systems also support transmission to a subset of machines. So that is what we can call it as a multicasting. So when a packet is sent to a certain group, it is delivered to all machines subscribing in that group. So this is what we can call it as a multicasting. When it comes to the point-to-point links, as I told you, remember wise, so networks can be classified in two different dimensions. In one dimension is transmission technology, another one is a scale. Based on the transmission technology, networks are broadcast networks and point-to-point networks. In broadcasting case, all the systems are connected to a single communication channel, and there data is transmitted. If any system wants to if any system sends the data is captured by all the systems connected in that network. So how the systems connected in the network identify that that message is a broadcasted message means that message packet address field is having a special code. Based on the special code, all the systems connected in the network can access that message or capture that message. If you want to send the message to a group of systems, then it is known as a multicasting. So when coming to the point-to-point links, in point-to-point networks, many connections are there between the individual pairs of machines. Between the individual pairs of machines, there are many connections. That means there are multiple ways are there to reach the destination here. So to go from the source to destination, a packet and sorry, to go from the source to destination, a packet, 1 minute. So to go from the source to destination, a packet on this type of network may have to first visit one or more intermediate machines. ఏదైనా ఒక ప్యాకెట్ ని ఒక చోట నుంచి ఇంకో చోటికి పంపించేటప్పుడు ఇన్ then this point to point links has to cross some intermediate machines. Often there may be a multiple routes of different lengths are possible. So finding good one is important. Finding the best route is important in point-to-point networks. The point-to-point transmission with one sender and one receiver, that is what we can call it. If in point-to-point transmission with one sender and one receiver is sometimes called as a unicasting. So data transmission can be a unicasting, multicasting, or broadcasting. Unicasting means only one sender and one receiver, that is a unicasting. Multicasting means transmission of data to a group of people, and broadcasting means transmission of data to all the systems connected in the network. All the systems connected in the network. That is a broadcasting. So let me repeat again. Computer networks are classified in two dimensions. In one dimension, based on the transmission technology, another dimension, scale. Scale means coverage area. Coverage area. And now, based on the transmission technology, network is classified as broadcast networks and point-to-point networks. And whereas scale, based on the scale or coverage area, networks are classified as personal area network, local area networks, metropolitan area networks, wide area networks, wireless networks, home networks, and internetworks and internetworks. So based on the scale, again, I repeat here, computer networks are classified as personal area networks, local area networks, metropolitan area networks, wide area networks, wireless networks, home networks, and internetworks. So as you all know that personal area networks. personal area networks, the maximum they can cover, 1 square meter, 1 square meter. That means the interprocessor distance is maximum of 1 meter. But whereas in a local area network, the coverage area may be a room that is 100 meters, or can be a building that is it will take a room which is of a 10 meters, a building which is of 100 meters, or a maximum we can say that a 1 kilometer range. So local area network coverage area is 10 meters to 1 kilometers. That is 1 kilometer within the campus. But when it comes to the metropolitan area network, it covers 10 kilometers, or we can say that an entire city. Wide area network, it can cover sometimes a country or a continent. That means a 100 kilometers to 1,000 kilometers. If you it covers in the internet is nothing but it covers the entire planet. That is more than 10,000 kilometers. More than 10,000 kilometers. Now let's have a glance on what is meant by this personal area networks, etc. So when it comes to the personal area networks in the sense they are meant for a one person. For example, wireless network connecting a computer with its mouse, keyboard, and pointer in a personal area network. Suppose if I'm having a desktop with wireless keyboard, wireless mouse, etc. As a combination of that, I can say that a personal area network. Beyond the personal area networks, some larger range networks are there. They can be divided into local, metropolitan, wide area network. That local networks, what we can call them as a LANs and MANs and WAN. Man in the sense metropolitan area networks, WAN in the sense wide area networks. Finally, connection of two or more WANs, what we can call it as an internetwork. A worldwide internet is well-known example of an internetwork. So distance is important as a classification metric because different techniques are used for different scales. So next, coming to the first one, that is the local area networks. As I told you, local area networks are generally called as a LANs, and they are privately owned networks with a single building or a campus, and it can cover a maximum of few kilometers in size. They are widely used to connect the personal computer and workstations in a company offices, or college labs, or in university labs, etc. LANs are distinguished from other kinds of networks in three different types of characteristics: their size, their transmission technology, and their topology. This is important, another one is. So LANs are distinguished from other kinds of networks in what means their size, their transmission technology, and their topology. Excuse me, Unnara,
Yes, sir.
are you
Yes,
following?
sir.
Yes, sir.
ఫాలో అవుతున్నారా
Yes, sir.
ఆర్ ఫాస్ట్ గా చెప్తున్నానా?
Out.
ఓకే. So LANs are used a transmission technology which consists of cables that all connect machines are attached. Maximum they can transfer the data at a speed of 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. That is megabits per second. And they are very data transmission is fast. That is we can say that a low delay. And nowadays some LANs are developed. They can operate up to 10 gigabits per second can be transferred. So there are various topologies are there in case of LANs like bus topology, ring topology, mesh topology like that. So two broadcast networks here in a diagram you can see that this type of network. So one cable is shared among multiple networks. This is what we can call it as a bus topology, and this is systems are connected in a form of a ring. So this is what we can call it as a ring topology. Ring topology. So in bus topology, what happened? See here in bus topology, what happened? If you want to deliver any message, that message is captured by all the systems, but only the system which is having the destination address, the system which is matched with the destination address of a transmitted packet that can capture the data. Remaining all will ignore that one. Remaining all will ignore that one. See here. So what happened in bus technology? At any instant, most one machine is the master and is allowed to transmit. All other machines are required to refrain from sending. So an arbitration mechanism is needed to resolve the conflicts when two or more machines want to transmit simultaneously. Then what is meant by an arbitration mechanism here? As we are having only one path here, one channel here, At a time, only one system can transfer the data. Remaining all systems has to wait, even though they are having the data to transmit, until the first data transmission action is over, or data transmission procedure is over. So for this one, there should be some arbitration mechanism is there, some control mechanism is needed, or else if in case of bus technology, if more than one system will transfer the data at the same time, then the data will be a collision will happen. That means the data will be that means you know collusion in the sense ఇక్కడ ఆ డేటా ఏమవుతుందంటే ఒకదానితో ఒకటి గుద్దుకుంటుంది. So a collision will be happen. So as a result of that one, data loss can be takes place. Data loss can be takes place. So to avoid that one, we need some kind of arbitration mechanism to resolve the conflicts when two or more machines want to transmit the data simultaneously. So this arbitration mechanism may be a centralized or decentralized. That is what we can call it as a distributed one. But in IEEE 802.3, that is what popularly known as the Ethernet, this arbitration mechanism is a decentralized one. And this is one, Ethernet is one example for a LAN. And in that, a decentralized arbitration mechanism is there, which is usually operating at a speed of 10 Mbps to 100 Gbps, 100 Gbps. So computers on the internet can transmit whenever they want to. If two or more packets collide each other, computer just waits random amount of time and tries to again. So in Ethernet, what happened means when any system can transmit the data to at any instant of time. So if some collision is happened, some packets are collide with each other, then the system will wait some time and again it will transfer the data. Again it will transfer the data. That is what is happening in Ethernet. The second type of broadcasting is there you can see that ring topology. In ring topology, no, what happened means in ring topology, see here in this ring topology, what happened means one bit will be rotated among the ring. If any system wants to transmit the data, that has to capture that bit, and that system only permitted to transfer the data. That system only permitted to transfer the data. Remaining all has to wait to get that bit. So a second type of broadcast system is the ring. In a ring, each bit propagates around its own, not waiting for the rest of the packet to which it is belongs. Typically, each bit circumnavigates the entire ring in the time it takes to transmit few bytes, often before completing the packet has been transmitted. As with the other broadcast systems, some rule is needed for arbitrating the ఇక్కడ కూడా just now I told you that some a ticket will be rotating in case of a ring topology. The ticket has to be captured. The ticket has to be captured. That is what we can call it as a captured. The machine which captures the ticket is eligible to transfer the data. And the IBM token ring is having a IEEE standard number with IEEE 802.5, and it can transfer the data at a speed of 4 to 16 megabits per second. And another example for token ring type of network is FDDI. FDDI. So broadcasting networks are further divided into two types, static and dynamic, depending on how the channel is allocated. So broadcast networks are further classified as two types. And earlier we know broadcasting network and point-to-point networks are there. Na? The broadcasting networks are further classified depending upon as static and dynamic. In case of static network, static allocation would be divided into time. In broadcasting network, static and dynamic, how the channel is allocated in the sense in static case, before transmitting the data, we can allocate, the channel will be established and through that channel data will be transmitted. Through that channel data will be transmitted, and again, of course, for that one, again, we are having different types of mechanisms, different types of algorithms to transfer the data, different types of mechanisms to divide the channel, different types of mechanisms to allocate the channel to different types of systems. Static allocation is having the disadvantage as it wastes the channel capacity. So another one what we can having is allocating the channel dynamically. So dynamic allocation method for common channel means as per the requirement channel will be allocated. This channel allocation can be done either centralized or decentralized. In centralized channel allocation method, a bus arbitration a unit will be there which determines who goes next. Whereas simply that bus arbitration unit, what it will do means it will accept the request and it makes a decision, and based on that decision is maybe based on the some internal algorithm, and based on the decision, it will allow it will allow which machine, it will allow the channel to the machine. It will allow the channel to the corresponding system. Whereas in decentralized channel allocation method, there is no central entity. Each machine must decide for itself whether to transmit the data or not. Transmit the data or not. So that's what we discussed about the LAN part, local area network. So in local area networks, what we are having, depending upon the coverage area, scale, local area networks are divided into personal area networks, local area networks, broadcast, I mean metropolitan area networks, broadcasting networks, and then inter networks, now till now we discussed about the LAN, that is local area networks, and types of local area networks, like depending upon the topology, local area networks are classified as bus and ring and mesh, etc. And as a part of that, we discussed about the two types of topologies: bus and ring topology, bus and ring topology, and they can cover a maximum of 10 meters to 1 kilometers. That part we discussed. And when it comes to the metropolitan area networks are the what we can call them sometimes as a man in the sense metropolitan area network. It will cover an entire city. The best known example of man is the cable television network available in many cities. Suppose in our in Nagari, the total cable TV connections, we can call it as a metropolitan area network. And if it is having, 10 kilometer, more than 10 kilometers of coverage area. Now, I can say that in Tirupati, the television network covers more than 10 kilometers. So this can be treated as a one metropolitan area network. So a man metropolitan area network might look something like the system like this. So this is, no, it may be connected. I can say that this one, it appears like a LAN of bus type of LAN, and it appears like a bus type of LAN. It appears like another bus type of LAN, and each LAN is connected with a junction box, and the junction box is connected with again a head end, and it is connected with a server or internet, etc. Now I can say that based on this particular architecture, I can say that a man is nothing but a collection of LANs. A man is nothing but a collection of LANs. So next thing what we are having is a wide area network, and wide area network, as we discussed, it may cover a country or a continent, and it contains a collection of machines intended for running user applications or programs. So the hosts are connected by a communication channel, that is communication subset, or just a subset for short. The subset consists of two distinct components like transmission lines and switching elements. So transmission lines may be a copper wires or fiber optic cables or radio links, and switching elements again they may be routers, or we can say that bridges, etc. When data arrives on the incoming line, the switching devices or router or bridge may choose the outgoing line through which the data is transferred. Through which the data is transferred. Okay, so this is how actually the wide area network uh, introductory part, and you can see here how this wide area network appears. You can see this one. I can say that wide area, the relation between host and LAN in the subnet, you can see that. So this one is one LAN, and this one is one LAN, this one is one LAN. All these LANs are connected. I can say that connected to this part, and I can say that this is a man. And so wide area network, I can say that a collection of mans. That means man, I can say that a collection of LANs, and the WAN is nothing but a collection of mans. So wide area networks is having different mechanisms to transmit the data from source to destination, like store and forward or packet switching networking, packet switching method, etc. And in case of to transfer the data from source to destination. So here you can see the data is divided into various packets, and that packets are transferred to the destination through a network. This is what we can call it as a wide area network. So it consists of switching devices as well as the transmission links. The switching devices may be a router or it may be a bridge, etc. And the transmission, the here. Uh, each and every router is having will choose the route to be transmitted, the route to be chosen by the packet to reach the destination. So this is I will stop here for today's topic. As a today's topic, in next class we will discuss about wireless networks. Do you have any doubts, ma?
No, sir.
No. No. Okay, then. Thank you. Please
No, sir.